evening, fellow YouTubers and fellow gamers. Welcome to Dial of Gaming. I am your host, Commander Sanchez, and today, the topic we are going to be talking about is net neutrality. Today, we're also going to be inviting some guest speakers that we're going to have. We have a total of 6 of them, and they are going to give their opinions on what net neutrality is, what needs to be done, and so on and so forth. This will also have links below in the description if you guys want to go in and read about net neutrality and what is going to happen, what Congress needs to do, and how you should fight it. So we will have every bit of those in the description below. We will also host, I would also put in the description a link to the Congresswoman, what was her name? Claiborne. Mignon Claiborne. Her speech was awesome. If you guys want to look at that, it will be in the description below. It is 21 minutes long, but it is worth watching. We are going to be, you're going to see things on the screen. This is going to be a raw footage, so bear with me. Enjoy, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe and push that notification bell for the next video, which is going to be the debate. This is only the discussion, so hope you guys enjoy. I am your Commander Sanchez, your host, and let's do this. Good evening, fellow ladies and gentlemen on Dial of Gaming. I am your host, Commander Sanchez, and today we are joined in with 5 other people that we are going to have our guests today. Today we have Dragonfire. We have Navon, Kirk, Gaff, and we also have Death or Zombie. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey.
So today our topic we are actually going to bring up on everyone is actually net neutrality. Apparently the vote actually happened earlier this week on Thursday, where Ajit Pai brought up the actual conversation on bringing down net neutrality and pretty much going back to the old days. So right now we are going to come up to everyone and see what they think about net neutrality, and we're going to introduce what Ajit Pai has. So Death, Zombie, what do you think about net neutrality?
I think that net neutrality actually keeps the internet in line now.
Okay. What about you, Graf? Alright, we'll get back to you. Hey, how about Kirk? How about you? Do you have any words on net neutrality?
I find it essential to modern society. At this point in technological interconnectedness of our world, the internet is not a luxury anymore, it's a utility.
Interesting.
It's a necessity.
What do you think, Navon?
I think pretty much the same with Graph, but I think it's also now it's becoming a cash grab as everything else is nowadays.
And last but not least, Dragon, what do you think?
I believe that net neutrality it should stay. Unfortunately, it's been repealed. Unfortunately, though, I believe it's just a whole big thing for internet providers can have more control and get more money out of their customers.
And awesome, that's awesome that you think that. We have a guest that just joined, and his name is Six. If you guys also want to look at the screen, his name is Lucifer.
Well, so another thing in net neutrality in Puerto Rico, I could be wrong, but as soon as they lost their rules for the internet, they came out like literally the next day. They changed their internet packages to include different, essentially what we know as gamers called DLC for for the internet. So they broke down the packages of text talk was now added for about an extra $6. If you wanted to listen to music and whatnot, that was an additional $6. If you wanted to browse the net or go into certain sites, that was additional $6. If you wanted to play games or stream, that was an additional $6 for more stuff, and it just piled on and on and on. And they had separated their internet into about 8 different parts, into 8 different packages, so that the consumer had to buy all of them if they wanted to access the internet freely. And if net neutrality is completely gone, I believe that we are truly fucked, and a lot of people aren't going to be very happy.
Well, that's one thing I want to also bring into the conversation, is that now that the FCC actually voted for the repeal and it was approved, now it has to go to the court systems. And now we have to actually wait and see what the court will actually vote on. But at the same time, I believe that since they have over 1 million people saying that they want net neutrality, save the net, this whole thing about how the internet is actually dead, I don't believe that it's actually dead until it's passed Congress. And I do have some sites here that I want to actually tell everyone about. Right now we do have Google Docs set up where we have some references like freepress.net and a couple others. 6. We are actually going to share that with you. Anyone that actually gets this document can actually edit it and add more stuff to it for basically the conversation. Right now we can actually, if you all want to look at freepress.net, you can actually click on it, and it actually will come up with a thing where it says internet isn't dead yet, and here's what Congress needs to do. It actually tells you about what they need to do and what we also need to do at the same time. It's a brief it's actually a brief paragraph, and it actually is very informative. But what do you guys think that Congress should do? So what do you guys think that Congress should do? Let's go with Death. Zombie, what do you think?
Huh?
What do you think Congress should do for the next step in saving net neutrality? No?
I actually think that they should just say no.
No, why's
And
that?
then have the head of the FCC quit his job.
I have some comments.
Go ahead, Kirk.
So, here's what Congress should do. Congress should actually start serving the interest of the American people. An analysis of the net neutrality comments on the FCC's website shows that 98% of all human-generated comments are in support of net neutrality. And I say 98% of human-generated ones because there are various interest groups creating spam robots to create fake comments, and it's really a problem. And the FCC commissioner's basically ignoring them. If you look at some of his recent videos, you can see him actually nodding them off as jokes. So I think that Congress should actually start enforcing federally regulated commissions, the FCC, for example, to start serving the interests of the American people rather than just forwarding corporate agendas.
I actually agree with that. I don't know, Dragon, what do you think about that one?
I would have to agree, but it's politics, and it's gonna be difficult.
6, what do you think?
Unfortunately, that might not be the case, because I'm pretty evident that Ajit sold out. It's pretty evident.
Well, in retrospect, to hold you right there, in retrospect, just let everyone know, Ajit Pai is actually a former Verizon Wireless lawyer.
Yep.
Exactly, just as that. He's a lawyer that used to work for Verizon Wireless, and hence Verizon Wireless is one of the supporters of the repeal.
And and another guy, they had an attorney out who said that net neutrality wouldn't, like, with the demolition of net neutrality wouldn't change anything. However, this attorney actually works for Comcast. So it's like, why are you guys taking his word from it when it's widely known that Comcast fucking sucks? I don't understand it. But when it comes down to it, because the FCC obviously doesn't give a fuck about what you or I think.
Oh.
They blatantly said they didn't care, and that they were going to get rid of the FCC rules anyway, because they're doing whatever makes them the most money. And if they can make money, they will try to make money, because that is how America, essentially, the capitalism works. And because capitalism is like the state that we are now, they are able to do these things because they have people in power to do it for them.
That's right. Yeah. Well, Kirk just posted up a thing on The Verge, and if you guys also want to look at it, the topic is the 265 members of Congress who said that they sold out to ISPs, which is internet service providers, and how much it costs to buy them. There's a short video on it if you guys want to go in there. I do have the actual link in the description, also on the Google Doc if you guys want to join our debate. Republicans in Congress just voted to reverse the landmark FCC privacy rules that opens the door for ISPs to sell customer data. Lawmakers provide no credible reasons for this being in the interest of Americans, except for the vague platitudes about consumer choice and free markets, as if consumers are at the mercy of their local internet monopoly, are craving to have their web history quietly sold to marketers and any other third party willing to pay. I agree with that. It even has a list. Oh shit! It even has a list of U.S. senators that was sold on this thing. What the hell?
A list? Oh, great.
Yeah, I
Oh,
saw that
boy.
like a few days ago.
You have Alexander Lamar. You have John Barrasso. You have Roy Blunt, John Boozman, Richard Burr. Oh shit! They actually did all that. Nice job, Verge. Holy cow! I didn't even see this before. Even in Texas, yeah, I would think Texas Republican John Cornyn. Yeah, I would think so. He gets
I live
paid.
in North Carolina. My Congress members completely sold us out. So, yeah, and I get to vote next election. Guess who I'm not voting for?
Yeah, that's just freaking crazy. Senator was appointed to Congress in February 2017 to fill Attorney General just have U.S. House Representatives. They have House Representatives. They have Senators. Holy shit, that's a freaking list. Let's see. Let's say. Additionally, it is important to note that the communications industry is one of the most largest lobbying groups in the U.S. history. Internet providers at the telephone companies before them are notorious for spreading wealth across the aisle. Regardless, one party seems more responsive to the industry's demands. So you have the U.S. Senate, and it's pretty much all Republicans. What the fuck? I've just started noticing that it's all Republicans. What the hell? So if someone out there that outside of this debate can actually collaborate against this on which ones are actual freaking Republicans and which ones aren't, the list is over here on The Verge, on TheVerge.com. I'll have like I said, I'll have the link in the description. You guys can check that out. Other than that, we have the CNN on tech. We also have the Fortune.com. We have all kinds of stuff that's actually starting to get a hold of this. But when I was listening to the actual Congress the actual hearing on this, you had two people that were Democrats that were against the repeal. One of them, what was her name? I can't remember her name. Ah, damn. Anyway, this actual commissioner was actually really against it, and also had just worded everything perfectly. And I'll post that video in the description, but I'll have to find it. But she even read a letter from another commissioner that was rejected to even show up. He was rejected to give his opinion on the matter. And the words in that letter were almost dead on.
Hey, Sanchez.
Yeah, what's up?
I also want to let you guys know that people will say that before 2015 there wasn't net neutrality, but that's actually a lie. That's actually a lie. Net neutrality did exist, but we didn't really call it net neutrality. There were rules that regulated the internet then, before the release of net neutrality during the Obama administration. Just so you know. So if anyone says, "Oh, we went a while without net neutrality," they obviously don't know what the fuck they're talking about, because they obviously haven't done the research to know that there were rules that existed that regulated the internet prior to net neutrality.
What do you think
Just
of that?
FYI.
What do you think of that, Kirk? Kirk. To Kirk.
Well, you see, at this point, there's so many forces working against a free internet that the outlook is bleak. But you see, with the amount of people in the United States that are actually passionate about this, I feel like the courts are going to side with the American people.
Well, you did have that fight back when this was before the whole net neutrality thing was what's it called? I think it was when who was it? Just because the U.S. government was against, say, like WikiLeaks, PayPal and some other companies actually stopped them from getting donations. And I do remember that there was some kind of law that came out of nowhere where most of the congressmen were actually for this particular law. And when you had people calling up and having the congressmen actually open their eyes, almost you'll see an immediate flip. People coming on TV and actually saying that now they're against it because they actually had to talk to their people.
Well, I'll tell you what, Sanchez, once it starts affecting votes and it comes election time and everything like that, everybody's going to want somebody to fucking. You're going to want your best opinion of them, and they're going to want your vote.
So one of my coworkers at work was actually talking about net neutrality, and when he was listening to the actual thing as well, he actually brought up a good point. Right now, people are thinking about the now, meaning what just happened. Yes, Ajit Pai just repealed the net neutrality laws, but at the same time, we have to look at the future, what the big picture would be. Are people going to sit back and just take it up the ass for saying that they're going to pay extra for a certain service? Because one of the things that was actually permitted was, or actually brought forward, was that say like Comcast will actually charge you a certain package. So like entertainment, YouTube, Netflix, and all that, you have to actually pay an extra fee. That may not actually happen, but it could. That was one of the scenarios. What was that?
I said knowing Comcast.
Yeah, but you also gotta think there's multiple factors that can happen, and one way is you gotta think, is the company that stupid?
Well, obviously EA. If companies like for instance, EA, for the longest time,
Power to the players,
has given no shits.
Well, technically, he's still giving no shits.
Still not giving. So, and my biggest concern, my biggest issue is we have companies like Netflix, because this is going to impact companies like Netflix, Google, Yahoo,
Facebook.
internet-based companies. If their people can't fucking, because it comes down to a money thing for them as well. If they can't afford to get the internet, they can't afford to do this, that, or watch their shows and develop some peace, or play their games in with peace, they're gonna lose money.
Well, you see,
You're gonna have to see people not being able to use their sites, not able to do this or that on the internet, because the internet is a fucking utility. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And should be considered, you know.
Well, Kirk, what do you have an answer to that?
well, you see, it's not the biggest companies that are going to be hurting from this. It's the companies that haven't been invented yet. It's the Snapchat that hasn't been
it's the
invented
small
yet.
ones.
It's the new Facebook that hasn't been invented yet. It's the new YouTube that hasn't been invented yet. How are they going to make their way up through a world where it's pay to play?
Well, see, here's the thing though. The current market isn't a safe space. Oh my god, I can't believe I just said that. Isn't a safe environment for smaller companies because it is the internet, and so you have guys like Google and Chrome that you're always going to use over some new thing called Internet Explorer 2 or some shit. But my thing is, you have a lot of people who use the internet or play games or just sit around and watch TV on Netflix and whatnot to essentially, I want to say, chill out. So let's take for instance a kid who's getting bullied in high school or middle school or he's getting bullied, he goes online to go talk to his friends because that's who he can talk to. What happens when he can't talk to his friends anymore because his parents won't pay the internet or the new internet? They can't afford the new internet with the new packages and whatnot, so he can't talk to his friends online anymore. So now he gets bullied and he goes home. He has to deal with that by himself.
But that goes back to what my colleague actually said. That would be actually becoming a communist country. But like I said, are companies that stupid to actually do something like that? Because they are. EA is blatantly one of the biggest examples out there. You have every gaming community out there, every person that's a tech whiz, or just a certain person that, oh hey, my kid plays this. They're 100% against EA at the moment right now. That's why you have almost $8 billion in lost revenue for their stock prices. So that's why I'm saying, are other companies going to be learning from that very aspect? Because if it's not crowd-funded or crowd-based, for how is it on their opinions alone, then what good is the government to us?
Well, you see, here's one of the biggest things. And the people who are currently deciding and making these rules, for instance, on the topic of gaming, they don't see it as a relevant thing. We see it as a relevant thing. They couldn't get two shits about it.
Well,
You get what I'm saying.
well, there is still a website out there you guys can actually get into. It is called battleforthenet.com. Note that any website that we actually say on this, we are not sponsored by them. Just putting it out there, the word, and having everyone have their information straight. One way to battle this is battleforthenet.com. If you guys go to it, right now it actually calculates how many people called today. And today there was over 100,000 people that called their Congress. This whole week, 320,000 people, going up to 321,000. In total, you had from this thing starting 1.2 million people calling their congressperson, and yada yada. There are sites on here that you can actually go to. There are pictures of the congressman that you can actually connect with. There are videos. It even shows them which teams are actually in part of this. Comcast, Verizon, AT&T, and Spectrum are the four major providers that are for the repeal. You have also other people that are against it, which is fightforthefuture.com. You have Reddit, you have GitHub, you got Etsy, you got Netflix, you have all these other companies that are against it. Discord, which we are using right now for our communication, is against the repeal.
Mozilla, the people who made Firefox, is also against the repeals.
Exactly. Yeah.
Google, Reddit.
If you wanna look at the main list.
Statistics.
So yeah, right now, it already passed, but you can also call your congressman and actually start getting this done. The vote already passed for the thing, meaning of how many companies are against it. They don't give a shit. The FCC does not give a shit. A JIT does not care about your opinion, but Congress does. The courts do. And to get your word out there, that is exactly what we want you guys to do. So just putting that out there, it's exactly what you guys think. I don't know what everyone thinks on here. Kirk, do you have anything else to add on this subject?
Well, I can tell you how much money these companies are spending on lobbying.
Go ahead.
Okay, so in 2016 alone, let me scroll back up. In 2016 alone, Comcast contributed 12.6 million to pro or anti-neutrality campaigns, and specifically themselves lobbied 14.33 million. Verizon directly contributed 3.2 million, while lobbying themselves for 10.08 million. AT&T contributed 11.64 million, and themselves lobbied 16.4 million. And the NCTA directly contributed 3 million, while directly lobbying 13.42 million. So what does that say? While on the other hand, the supporters of net neutrality, they spent not nearly as much, but still their efforts are valiant, because they're trying to protect the consumers. The biggest contribution was by Alphabet, which is the company that it's either owned by Google or ran by Google. I forget at this point, but they directly contributed 9 million and lobbied 15.4 million to support net neutrality. Amazon contributed considerably less, with only 1.5 directly to campaign and 11.3 to lobbying. Netflix only about 1.8 million between lobbying and direct contribution. And Microsoft evenly spent about 18.5 million between campaign and lobbying. So that says that there's a huge amount of money being spent on pro-net neutrality arguments and a huge amount of money being spent on anti-net neutrality arguments. But at this point, the people that would benefit, so Comcast, Verizon, AT&T, they spend so much more because they are going to benefit just unbelievably from this, while it's going to put the everyday consumer at a major disadvantage.
Agreed.
Well, at this point, it's obvious that those companies don't rat's ass about it. People would say it's easy, we'll just boycott products, but it's also like, think about it.
It's kind of hard to boycott a cell service.
Exactly, because we all use cell phones in some form or manner.
And we all need it
every single day, and a lot of businesses do need it. One thing that seems very idiotic when I think about it is how are you seeing the internet not as a utility? Because yeah, right. We use it on a day-to-day basis for many things, and so do many companies. So how are you gonna tell me it's not a fucking utility?
Well, one thing I find funny was in the famous words of Robin Williams, yes, the comedian. He actually says, "Wouldn't it be awesome just to go to some meeting or some ball with all the congressmen and actually have them wear a jacket with all their sponsors on them? Wouldn't that be eye-opening? Just like NASCAR, bro. Just like NASCAR. That would be awesome. Like, Dragon.
I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have enough room to even show some of their things.
Right. Dragon, what do you think of all this?
Like, I was about to add a comment to what's this face was talking about. Thing is, even try to boycott internet companies, which you can't, by the way. There's some people that only has access to one company around them. Like me, it's either Armstrong, which is my local company, or I'll go with probably Gala. That's my only two choices. Actually, third if I don't want to go with internet at all. I only have one company that can supply me with internet in total. So what I'm gonna do if they screw me over? I can't do shit.
Well, apparently one rumor about that is that if the net neutrality thing actually does fall through and falls, supposedly this was a rumor. It's not on the record, but supposedly it would give the people. Apparently one of the benefits was to actually give people the chance to actually get actual service to their homes that don't have service. So Comcast will be able to come to you if the net neutrality law was dropped. You have AT&T will be able to come to you if it's not even your section. They would have to find a way. That's one rumor that when net neutrality actually falls, that would have to be implemented. But at the same time, that's a rumor. That's a rumor. It's not actually true.
It's going to be like that. You can say it's a rumor, but I really doubt that they'll try to have anything in place to force them to go to these places to be fair. Because that's going to cost money. They're going to have to hire more technicians. They're going to have to buy more equipment. They're going to have to set time and manpower to set up these new areas just so these places can get their communication, which is good for the company, but
at the same time,
be forced to go do that.
At the same time, these consumers are going to be forced to pay a lot more, so the cost would, over time, even out, so to say. Because right now, I have a friend who lives in the middle of nowhere, and the only people that serve, well, the closest people to him are like 5 miles away, and they signed a contract with my friend's parents that if you would sign a contract and buy our internet service for so many years, I think it was like 5 years, then we will extend our lineage, our lines to your house, and you'll get good internet. Because right now he has HughesNet, which is utter garbage. So they signed the contract, and then when it came time to actually do it, they backed out of the contract saying, we can't extend our lines, it would cost too much, you're just too far, things like that. So these companies, they're not trustworthy. And they're not aiming for satisfaction of the consumer.
They're aiming for money.
That's exactly what they're aiming for, and they decided that there's no way that it would be cost effective to give my friend internet. So they said, screw it, you get no internet, you're screwed.
Well, that's where I come back to that congresswoman. Again, I can't remember her name. I don't know. I forgot her name. Like I said, she blatantly said that to Ajit and all the other two Republicans that were there, and just plainly said that you guys are selling out. There is money to be made here that you guys want the consumer to actually pay for. Yeah, exactly, and it's just, I don't know. I salute her because she blatantly said it to those guys, and at the same time she read a actual letter to be put on the record from a commissioner that was not allowed to be there. Not allowed. Do I know the reasons why he wasn't allowed? No. but that it just made me laugh that the stuff that was in that letter. I'll see if I can share that video with you guys, but it was freaking awesome. I just yeah, it's just hilarious.
One of the well, I'm referencing back to what I was saying a bit earlier, is that a lot of people who play games, I'm not gonna say a lot of people, I'll put it this way. There are a good bit of people I know who have mental issues and they play games because they sit around and they play games mostly. Get home from work, they just go and play games. Because that's how they cope with whatever they're dealing with. Me, I play games because I have serious fucking depression. So I play games to relieve my stress and help me deal with that. And what happens when you have a lot of people who now can't use that outlet and are being charged essentially fucking DLC just to go ahead and play their games or watch their videos or YouTube and whatnot? I can guarantee you that if you have access to guns, it's not going to look pretty, and it will not look pretty because you're going to have a lot of people who have mental disabilities who now have a lot more free time on their hands to think and do other shit.
Well, the two commissioners that, just to put this out there, the two commissioners that were against it were Clybourne and Rosen Warcell, Jessica Rosen Warcell. Those were two of the most honest answers I've ever heard from commissioners or pretty much anyone that's in the government. And as to your thing with your 6, I agree, but I don't know. Zombie, what do you think?
About which thing?
The one with 6 just announced.
Oh. I actually wasn't really paying attention to it. Sorry.
Was it?
I was saying that there are a lot of people who use the internet, like gaming and watching TVs and stuff like that, and they use it to deal with their mental illnesses and their disabilities to help them cope with things. And so I use it to cope with my depression. So what happens when you have a lot of people who have, for instance, access to guns in America?
A lot of suicides and a lot of...
Well, you see, that is a little bit of a slippery slope fallacy. But at the same time, if you think about it in that way, I would put it as this. Say that the internet is a form of a coping mechanism and allows access to supportive people, supportive sites, even Googling advice on what to do, possibly. Maybe someone is considering to hurt themselves, right? But then through the internet they find a community that helps them feel better about themselves, and they make friends, and their friends say don't do it, and then they don't do it. Otherwise they would have never met those people and very possibly could have started down a road of self-harm.
Yeah, and that's one thing that the way you bring that up. Shoot, what's his name? The big dude that on YouTube, I can't remember his name. He talks about suicide rates, suicide. If you're thinking about suicide, he'll talk about it. He'll give you the phone number to that certain phone thing, service.
738-255.
Exactly. There you go. Thank you. And that's exactly what he explains. So, say like if you're in the pharmaceutical company, and all you want them to do is to buy drugs on that, they can stop him for doing so. Or if they want the death rate to increase, boom, they can stop him from doing so. Just by a flick of a key, a swipe of a piece of code to slow his reaction, his throttling, basically to have you throttle against him. And I think that's particularly wrong. That's why I think net neutrality is is worth saving, because all the information that we can actually profit, not profit, but we can actually gain from this is actually one of the things I actually think is good. Dragon, do you have anything to add?
I'm actually gonna give an example for real quick for what you said about a coping mechanism or getting help and whatnot. Because recently I had a case recently in another Discord server. This guy recently joined our community and whatnot, and one time all of a sudden, he's dealing with depression and whatnot due to issues in real life. So one time he sent a picture. He was sitting at the edge of a roof. Said he was doing drugs, like hard drugs, like cocaine or heroin. He was actually thinking about jumping off the roof and killing himself right there and then. Pretty much several members of the community, including me, pretty much try to actually talk him out of it, and we did talk him out of it, and thank God, actually not do that to himself.
Keep going.
So pretty much it is such a thing as people do get help on the internet, and people do help other people get. Yeah, I can't speak to that. Jesus Christ.
Well, that I can say that I've actually done that before too. Six, you and I have done that. Kirk,
I have as well.
talking people out of doing some things that for doing so, and we've all as gamers, you can actually say you've witnessed if your internet is actually lagging, which meaning you're just running slow speed and you can't catch up to what's going on the actual server, you actually start crashing. And I've seen it multiple times on Discord, and also on what was the other one? TeamSpeak.
TeamSpeak.
Thank you, TeamSpeak. And that can also play a factor into that little area. But as like I said,
no
other
worse feeling.
but like as other companies, what if TeamSpeak pays Comcast to actually throttle Discord, or Discord to throttle what's it called? TeamSpeak. It's vice versa, and so
we always have Skype as well. With Skype being owned by Microsoft, there's that the conference of Microsoft fully backing Skype.
exactly. Thank you. And then on FaceTime. So
Yeah.
the whole message out here right now is for everyone to actually know what net neutrality is, and to figure out what to give their word out here. Zombie, you have something to add?
Huh?
Did you have something to add?
Well, I do have an opinion of what should happen to the FCC, but
Okay,
it gets dark quick.
So we'll go down the
Oh
line.
boy.
We'll go down the line right here and see what everyone thinks what should happen in the future. So Six, what do you think Congress should actually do? Six.
If it ain't broke, don't fucking fix it.
That worked.
Perfect. Just perfect. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
All right,
That
all right, Zombie. What's your message on that?
I think that they should sink the FCC down into the mantle of the earth and leave all the employees in the building.
Let's just sing Edgy Pie.
Yeah, I was just thinking edgy pie, but okay, what the hell?
I said it becomes dark really quick.
That got dark pretty fast. Graph, if you've been hearing this, what do you think Congress should be doing on in the future for this? If Graph is there. Alright, Graph is not there. So, Kirk, what do you think should be done in the future?
Okay, so the best way to prevent something like this from happening: educate yourself, find out your rights, fight for your rights, and call your Congress members and tell them you support Title II and net neutrality. And tell them to uphold the demands of the American people. Yeah, there we go. That's exactly what I want to say.
Alright, so Nevan, what do you think?
I agree with what everyone else is saying, man. That they should do that, and not screw it up like they're trying to, because they don't realize once they do what they're gonna do, eventually it'll blow back in their face, and it's not gonna be good for them.
Alright, Dragon.
Hey.
They'll realize that they screwed up more than they can fix.
Dragon.
Heck, if you guys have to, freaking do protests and whatnot. A peaceful kind, but, you know, protests.
Well,
Make them...
this past December 7th, actually, there was a protest, as you guys can see on the website. What was it on? What was that one called? Battleforthenet.com. If you guys actually go on there, it actually had a date where it says on December 7th, 2015, you will actually be able to protest in front of Verizon Wireless stores and certain others, but mainly out of Verizon Wireless retail stores. And a lot of people actually showed up. There's actually a picture right down below it where there's a bunch of people with the emoji of the mad symbol from Facebook. And it does resist. Killing net neutrality will hurt small businesses, and I totally agree with that. So I don't know.
The worldwide ramifications are that many countries that have net neutrality laws in place, they will use, once this goes completely through and we no longer have rules for the net, other countries that do will use this, who are in their companies, will use America as an example to get rid of their rules for their internet. And then other companies will roll in, and then they will take over from there.
Well, with that being said, everybody that's in here, thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. We will be having an actual debate and seeing if other people will be able to come on tomorrow, sometime around the afternoon, around the same time, around 6 p.m. Central Time, which is also 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We are going to see if we can get some people on here that are for it and for against it. As you guys can see, everyone on here is actually against the repeal for net neutrality, which pretty much almost every other American is. But we would love to have someone on here that actually is against the net neutrality rule laws, and that would not be discriminated. We love opinions, and we would love to just see what you guys have to say, and we'll have a little debate. We're not going to fight. We're not going to do anything of that like that. We'll be respectful. If there is a problem, we will actually readjust the issue, and we will get things done. Everything that we have actually stated, the websites and everything, all the information will be in the description in the channel below, and we will also come back tomorrow. If you guys are open, you guys are willing to come and join around the same time. Anyone wants to add before we end this discussion?
Sure.
The FCC shall fall.
I agree with that.
Alright.
Anyways, I recommend some people here listening to this learn what a VPN is. You might need it in the future.
VPN, yeah, I do agree with that.
Stands for Virtual Private Network. It can help you get past some restrictions.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of restrictions.
Yes, exactly.
So if your internet service provider gives you a little bit of an inch, you can use that against them if you know how to use it. So yeah.
Well, if you guys, like I said, everything's going to be in the description below. Even the speech of the Congresswoman, the Congresswoman of Mignon Claiborne. She has an excellent speech. It is 21 minutes long, but it's exceptionally one of the best things I actually heard. So, with that being said, guys, I am Commander Sanchez. everyone here, thank you for joining us. We'll see you guys tomorrow. This is Commander Sanchez signing off.
That's it, folks.